I bet y'all were expecting a porn star when you heard my name. Surprise! The men are disappointed and confused, and the women are relieved. They're like, oh, thank God she isn't hot. I'm hot. I broke out in a sweat just walking up here, people. It's hard being a fat girl in Florida. Just imagine if I was a porn star. The movie would be called Dawn Does McDonald's. The story about a plus-sized girl cruising McDonald land looking for the Big Mac with a special sauce. The climax would be me eating 10 whole chicken McNuggets. I'm hungry just thinking about it. I pulled through Burger King the other day. The clerk was handing my order to me, and I asked for a couple extra napkins. He paused and looked at me, and then a deep, very white voice said, girl, I'll take good care of you all the way around. I started feeling scared and turned on all at the same time. It was obvious he wanted to have it his way with me. And boy, was he a whopper. All right, I'm not a porn star. I'm a bail bondsman. I know you're thinking supermodel, right? Right? I get that all the time. Our motto is came on vacation, left on probation. And a lot of times it's back on violation. We also have another motto for the special clients that get caught up in the prostitution stings. We say, that's the most expensive piece of ass you never got. Really, are they a special kind of stupid or what? Have you seen Daytona Beach hookers? Have you? They aren't Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman, right? Here's a clue. If she has all her teeth and looks like she bathed recently, it's probably Daytona Beach PD. The wives are pissed when they come in to do the paperwork. The wife will say, see this? You won't be getting any of this. That's when it gets awkward, because I'm often tempted to say, apparently he wasn't getting any of it before. As a general rule, we don't do prostitution bonds for the prostitutes because they notoriously fail to appear in court. I was trying to explain this to a woman one day, but she was not taking no for an answer. Finally, I said, look, we don't do bonds for ladies who sell their coochies on street corners. I thought I made myself clear when she came back with, honey, I don't sell it. I just rent it by the hour. And sometimes by the 5-minute increments. I couldn't argue with that. Sometimes when I get bored at work, I like to play this game I made up called Guess the Charge. I pull up the mug shots and try to guess what the person was arrested for without looking at the booking info. Obviously, if they look like if they look like they were an actor for The Walking Dead, they're in for meth. That's a no-brainer. The easiest, and sir, I did not know you were going to be here tonight. Please forgive me. If it's a white guy with dreadlocks, the charge is always the same. Always. Jaywalking. Because he is high as hell, and he's carrying a lot of weed, and he's trying to avoid that cop on the corner. So, I am so excited. I just heard there's this new scientific study that says the bigger your ass, the longer you'll live. I am immortal. Thank you for clapping for my big ass. Did you see the size of my caboose? That's my ticket to eternity, baby. I am gonna live forever. I sometimes underestimate the size of my ass. Don't get me wrong. I know it is large, but wow. One day I was sitting on the sofa and my husband asked if I'd seen the remote. I said, no. He said, you aren't sitting on it, are you? Insulted, I said, I think I would know if I was sitting on the remote. So just to prove my point, I stood up. And in doing so, I accidentally tooted and changed the channel on the TV. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Anyways, I stood up, and there it was, the remote, and one of my cats. In my diary from when I was 12, I've been looking for that. I had eye surgery recently and had a gas bubble in my eye for 6 weeks. And that wasn't because I was holding in a fart. If that was the case, there'd be a lot more skinny chicks walking around with eye patches. After the surgery, I had to lay on my side for a whole week. A few days later, my husband snuggled up behind me and whispered, "Guess what I'm thinking?" I said, "I'm guessing since I haven't showered or brushed my hair in 3 days and I'm wearing an eye patch, that you're into fucking pirates." To which he replied, "Yar." When I was a little girl, I dreamed of one day being a happy, wealthy widow. Things don't always turn out like you planned, but I keep telling him there's still time. I'm actually married to a great guy. The other day I bought him his favorite cookies and sent him a picture. He texted me back and said, "Oh baby, you know what I like." So I said, "There's more where that came from." To which he replied, "Oh, don't tease me." And I said, "No, really, Publix was having buy one, get one free." It was then that I realized I'm not very good at sexting. All right, here's something personal, people. I just like to get this right off my chest and get it out there. One time, my panties fell down in church. Just in case the video ever surfaces on YouTube and you're looking and saying, "Is that Dawn walking down a church aisle squeezing her legs together?" Yes, that is me. It was actually a rolling pantyhose situation, and my panties were more like an unfortunate hostage. Once that momentum started, there was no stopping it. It was kind of like the wrong place at the wrong time kind of thing. My panties, not myself. I was at my cousin's wedding when this happened. I just saw a sign recently for an auto dealer that says, "We treat you like family." My family fights all the time. Why would I want to shop there? They fight like a bunch of drunken sailors. And that's just the women, and they don't even drink. They're just grumpy. One of them has a reason to be grumpy. One of my aunts, her coochie closed up. I'm not making this up. I mean, shut. Nothing going in or coming out. This is documented. You can look it up. It's in the medical books. It brings new meaning to the term, use it or lose it. Whenever I see a sign that says parking in the rear, that always makes me giggle. I just thought I'd share that with you too. My mom and I were sitting at a red light the other day. 2 young girls were walking across the street with their babies. Thinking out loud, I said, "I never had a burning desire to have kids." Without missing a beat, my mother said, "Me either." In case you're wondering why I'm in front of strangers looking for love, now you know. I don't know why people are having kids anyways, when you could just adopt a puppy, or a kitten, or a bunny. At least they stay cute forever, right? And I had a thought, wouldn't it be genius marketing for a band to call themselves Kitty Porn? Just imagine the YouTube views they would get. I know that's bad. I had to say it. I love that joke. I've always wanted a stalker, but not a serial killer or murderer kind. Instead, a handsome guy named Alejandro with a trust fund. The closest I've come is the homeless guy in the corner hitting me up for spare change. But I did drive through my bank's drive-thru the other day. As I was sitting there, my dog was wagging her tail in the rearview mirror. So I looked to see what she's looking at. There in the car next to me was a big, handsome black gentleman with a huge smile on his face, staring right at me. I smiled, and then I looked away, and I thought, what's he so happy about? Then it occurred to me, I've got my own car, my own money, a beautiful pit bulldog, and I'm a fat white chick. I could be the poster child of the dream girl for the brothers. I have a friend who just came home from visiting family in Kentucky. I noticed she had bruises on her arms and legs, so I asked her what happened. She said, oh, my cousins were always wrestling with me. They'd throw me on the couch. They loved roughhousing. I said, how old are these cousins of yours? She said, oh, in their 20s. In their 20s, so they're grown men. Well, I didn't have the heart to tell her. That wasn't wrestling, that was foreplay. I, too, was once a victim of a hillbilly meeting ritual. He had an infectious smile. And by infectious, I think he had a bad case of gingivitis. Every other tooth was missing. He looked like a jack-o'-lantern when he smiled. What? Thank you for those 2 claps. Thank you. Why is it you never know how dirty your house is until you start cleaning it? I asked a friend that the other day, and she said, yeah, it's kind of like relationships. Like, why didn't I or anyone else notice what a jackass my ex was until we broke up? I said, oh, I noticed. We all noticed. Here's one more question to ponder. Why can't orgasms be like sneezes? When I sneeze, I do it in 3s. Facebook is always popping up with these silly challenges. I thought of a great challenge. Do a good deed, but don't go telling everybody about it. Right? And here's another challenge. Go a friggin' day without posting a fucking selfie. That could be your good deed. Thank you. Thank you. I feel strongly about that one. The other day, I was wanting a snack, and I was thinking M&Ms, but I saw an apple on the counter, and I thought to myself, I should have that apple. So I chose the apple. Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, but you're not happy.
Yeah, well, it didn't really happen. I was just fucking with you. The M&Ms won every fucking time. The M&Ms always win. I know. My ass is so big. You all heard of butt dialing. My ass butt shops. The other day, I was walking from my house to the car. My ass logged on to Amazon and ordered a $500 drone. You know the saying, my mouth's writing checks my body can't cash? Well, my ass is ordering drones my check account can't pay for. This one I dedicate to you, my friend. You know what's coming. I'm trying to get healthy. I'm not pointing out anybody, but I'm just started drinking algae because it's really healthy. I didn't know you were going to be here tonight. And, don't let anybody look. Just keep looking at me, people. Anyways, it's very expensive, so it must be good for you. Well, I gave some to a friend to try, and as she was drinking it, she's holding her nose. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, it tastes like sperm. I said, who the hell have you been blowing? Aquaman? I hate it when you're grocery shopping and the bag boy makes comments about what you're buying. The other day, he says to me, somebody's looking for a sugar high. So I said, someone's looking for a fucking punch in the eye. Thank you, right? They need to mind their own fucking business. Now I got a fucking restraining order, stupid Publix. Now all of a sudden I can't shop at Publix anymore. But I did just start the best diet ever. My nutritionist told me to shop the perimeter of the grocery store because that's where all the healthy food is. I have to tell you, I've never been so excited about a diet before. Yesterday, I bought chocolate milk, chicken wings, sushi, ice cream, and cake. I'm not losing any weight yet, but it's a very easy diet to stick to. Okay, I know what he meant, people. I'm not stupid. He meant by salad and shit. And I've been trying to eat healthy. Every time I turn around, I hear on the news how salad mixes are getting recalled for E. coli or listeria. How frustrating is that? Then it occurred to me, donuts never get recalled. Donuts are magical, right? How else do you explain a 1-ounce donut turning into 5 pounds of fat after I eat it? It's magic. I just read that a man died while participating in the annual Krispy Kreme challenge, which involves eating a dozen donuts during a 5-mile race. And he died. Yeah, I know. This is exactly why I drive to get my donuts. Is that wrong of me to say? No, what is wrong is after I read that sad story, I wanted some fucking donuts. In fact, just talking about it right now, I want some donuts. Does anyone have any donuts? This is the part of the show people usually give me some donuts. I'm kidding. No, thank you. No. I know a lot of comedians are looking for weed. Not me, but you hooked me up with some donuts and we were friends for life. You know, I think everyone has a superhero power. Some people are really fast. Some people are really strong. I float. In case you didn't notice. I am very buoyant. I don't even have to tread water. I just float. If ever I am out at sea and the ship goes down, I am in no danger of drowning. I could save this whole back wall. You all could just hold on to me and I would float us off to safety. I could be known as Life Buoy Girl, Princess of the Sea. That's a much better name than the alternative, Big Floater. If I was a superhero, donuts would be my kryptonite. You're the only person that's ever laughed at that joke. Thank you, Cindy. I love that joke. Some people fear superior beings are going to take over and enslave the earth. It's already happened. They're called cats. I'm often asked how many cats I have. Too fucking many. I'm one cat away from crazy cat lady status. Yeah, in fact, I'm married to a crazy cat lady. Now, before you lesbians go getting all excited, allow me to explain. He is 6'2", and he's not kidding when he says he's crazy about pussy. Thanks to him, I have 9 cats, a dog, and a bearded dragon. Yeah, you're guessing the wrong thing, honey. I don't usually talk about the lizard, because people might just think I'm bragging about being hairy. I'm not bragging. But there is a method to my madness. If ever there is a zombie apocalypse, I have a constant and convenient food supply. Until the cats run out. They would eat me if the tables were turned. You know they would. One of those little bastards is at home right now plotting my death. You know it's true. Living with cats is like living with a bunch of little drunken assholes. They lay around all day. When they're not breaking shit, they're puking on it. If I wanted to be around that behavior, I'd be with my college boyfriend still. Now, I have tile floors in one little area rug. Where do you think they puke when they decide to puke? I'll give you a hint. It's not on the 1,500 square feet of tile floor. No, little bastards. And one day, I look over, and I had a donut sitting on the coffee table. And there was a fucking cat sitting on my fucking donut. I had a very hard decision to make. I missed that cat. Was I supposed to throw out the donut? I recently had a sad realization that I would make a horrible zombie. I don't like walking long distances. I don't see myself walking for miles looking for a meal. I see myself sitting in my recliner waiting for a meal to walk by. Like I said, I'd be fine until the cat's foot ran out. My mom has a bulldog named Waffles. Babysitting Waffles is always fun, especially at night. She wanders out in the dark at 3 a.m. to do her business, and I have to scream at the top of my lungs to get her to come back in the house. Imagine the scene. My neighbors, sound asleep, and me screaming, "Waffles! Waffles! Waffles!" They're probably thinking, someone call Sheriff Jenny Craig, that fat girl's disturbing the peace. Screaming for waffles. Next thing you know, she's gonna want some bacon with that. This ain't IHOP. Fuck. You're probably wondering who names a bulldog Waffles. The same person who names a 95-pound Rottweiler Snuggles. My mom, she smokes a lot of weed. My mom likes to bake. And by that I mean she likes to wake and bake. She's the Betty Crocker of cannabis. My mom smokes a lot of weed, like Snoop Dogg, Willie Nelson a lot. And she has dyslexia. That's a dangerous combination. She mixes words so you never know what's going to come out of her mouth. The other day I told her I had run into one of her friends and he was complaining. She called him and didn't leave a message. She said, "I didn't call him. I must have accidentally butt-fucked him." I said, "Mom, I think you mean butt-dialed." "That's what I said." "No, it wasn't." "Same thing." "No, it isn't." "I think you would know if that had happened." So now whenever she calls my house and doesn't leave a message, my husband says, "Your mom butt-fucked us again." I plead, "Will you stop saying that?" "No, she smoked all my weed. She butt-fucked us again." My mom has a really bad habit of always talking on speakerphone, no matter who's in the room listening. I'm always telling her how rude this is. She says she's too tired to hold the phone up to her ear. I say, "Mom, you're not too tired, you're just so high." She argues, "I have chronic fatigue syndrome." It's more like chronic weed fatigue syndrome. But I came up with a solution. I was talking to her and I could hear someone in the background. So casually I asked her, "Is there someone there with you?" She said yes and told me her friend's name. So in a loud whisper I said, "I thought you hated that bitch." She doesn't put me... Thank you. It worked. She doesn't put me on speakerphone anymore. You're welcome to use that. The other day, some family and friends were hanging out at her house. She walks in and says, "I'm so glad you all are here. I've been wanting to talk to you about something. I know you want me to stop smoking weed, and I tried. I went a whole day, and I hated it. A whole day. And I was miserable. So I've decided I've got at least 10 more good years left, and I'm going to do what I want. So y'all better just deal with it. I'm not giving up smoking pot." I thought, oh my God. She just had the world's first reverse intervention. I didn't know there was such a thing. I just hope in the next 10 years, Meals on Wheels expands to offer weed on wheels. I don't mind picking her up a quarter pounder for lunch, but I don't want to have to score a quarter ounce on the way. My mom has a friend who smokes a lot of marijuana too. Imagine that. One day she said to me, "One time I accidentally brushed my teeth with Vagisil and had to call poison control." I'm not making this up, people. I said, "Oh my God, what happened?" She said, "My teeth just felt greasy, but they said I'd be okay." So then I said, "How high do you have to be to mistake Vagisil for toothpaste?" And she said, "It's not so bad, now my coochie's minty fresh." Hopefully she was using Crest. You know why? It shrinks cavities. So, my name is Dawn, which is ironic because I'm seldom up before noon. That's the problem when parents give their kids great names that have a high expectation. Ever meet a girl named Chastity? I'm just saying. And Hispanic families are the worst, like the ones who name their kids Jesus. What expectation are you having there, Jesus? I think you can tell a lot by that. If I had a kid, I would just name him Good Enough. If I had a daughter, I'd name her Not Pregnant Before the End of High School. No pressure, no pressure. I have decided you can tell a lot about a person by what they name their pets. My dog's name is Lovey. My cat's Kit Kat, Oreo, and Snickers. So obviously I am very sweet. Now my neighbor has 3 dogs, Jack, Daniels, and Whiskey. Needless to say, that bitch is an alcoholic. Don't get me started on my friend who named her cats Hoochie Mama and Sir Pimps a lot. I'm not saying she's a whore. You guys do the math. Speaking of whores, one of my best friends is a thespian. By thespian, I mean thug lesbian. She can kick your ass, then shut your clam. I made that up. Isn't that clever? I love my thespian friend, but she's always telling me I should come over to the dark side. I never knew lesbians were such Star Wars fans. I feel like I try to be a good person, but I feel like I have a dark side. And there's a battle going on. And it always happens when I'm driving. I'll see pedestrians on the sidewalk, and God will say, wave them on. So I wave them on. Simultaneously, the devil screams, floor it. So I wave them on, and then I floor it. I do. This confuses the hell out of people. And it gets me flipped off a lot. I don't mean to do it. I don't. I feel terrible when it happens. It's like it's out of my control. Now, I know the law says pedestrians have the right of way, but I really feel like they need to take some responsibility. Just because someone waves you on doesn't mean it's safe to cross the street. No, not with me driving. I'm just teaching them an important life lesson. Call it my public service. I'm always performing important public services. Yesterday, I was at Walmart, and I saw this rather large woman wearing camo yoga pants. Yeah, I know. As a fellow fat girl, I felt it was my civic duty to inform her of her fashion faux pas. So I tapped her on the shoulder, and I whispered, "They aren't working." She flipped me off, too. It's not my fault her ass is so big it's camouflage proof. Can I ask y'all a question? I just did, but here's another one. Is there anyone else here who hates to see themselves naked besides me? Anyone? A couple of you. The rest of you are shameless exhibitionists. Okay, CJ. All right, I will do anything to not see myself naked. I'll take a really hot shower so the mirrors steam up. I get dressed in the dark, but I learned a very valuable lesson the other day. I was in 7-Eleven and this gentleman started a conversation with me. As I was leaving, he asked if he could call me sometime. I told him I was married. He sighed and said, "All the best ones are." Oh, I said, "You just made a fat girl's day." He said, "Don't say that about yourself. You don't need to lose weight. You just have big bones." It was in that moment, that glorious moment, that I realized, no matter what you look like or how you feel about yourself, there is someone out there that wants to see you naked. You're not picturing me naked right now, are you? I feel vulnerable all of a sudden. It's all right. Speaking of naked, I just watched a documentary about plus-size girls dancing at strip clubs. I think this is great in theory. I'm all for empowered fat girls, but face it, there's a reason we are fat. We don't move around that much. So how exciting is that pole dance gonna be? I'll tell you, it looked like a grizzly bear scratching his ass on a tree. That's all it was. I'll show you. Here's my poll. Watch this. Make it rain, Daddy. Sorry, sir. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Weapon pointed right at you. Sorry, Tor. Sorry. All right, that's all it was. And that's okay. But you never see big girls on shows like America's Got Talent doing Cirque du Soleil style dance, where the guy throws the skinny chick up in the air, ooh, ah, and then he catches her. Boring. Let them try that shit with a plus size girl. That would be death-defying awesomeness. Right? But they'd have to change their name from America's Got Talent to America's Got Balls. Before I go, I'd just like to share something with you. I know I joke about being fat, but whatever shape or size you are, love yourself because you're beautiful. I get down on myself sometimes. I ask my husband, do you love me? Am I enough woman for you? He'll smile and say, of course I love you. You're more woman than I can even handle. Oh. Then he'll say, now move your big ass. I think you're sitting on the remote again. That's my time. You guys are awesome. Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
You guys give it up for the lovely Miss Starr one more time. Oh my God. I love this lady so much. Before I get to the next part though, I want you guys to know that all these comedians tonight, we perform for very little to nothing. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna pass around the tip jar. You guys can hook us up with a little bit of gas money, a little bit of something. We very much appreciate that. DJ CJ here is gonna be coming around with the tip jar. He's gonna be getting all your money from you. But you guys have a great time tonight? Oh yeah. You guys have a great time? You love all the comedians? You love Miss Starr here? So we love you, Dawn. Guys, a lot of what we do up here,